This is the Evening News for Tuesday, November 12, 2013. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, man goes berserk, kills 2 policemen among others. Police cause major disturbance in Hot Skull Gang. GPL embarks on new meter reading project. Guyanese teen charged in TNT for sodomizing cousin. And A Division police commander involved in accident. Now for the news in detail. A man went berserk on Middle Street, Georgetown today, killing 2 policemen among others and reportedly injuring several others in the process. Michael Young was at the scene of the incident and has the details in this report.
Pandemonium broke out earlier today in the capital city after the owner of one of the buildings on Middle Street went berserk, shooting and killing several persons in the process. The man has been identified as 51 years old Derek Kanai, and he is the occupant of the upper flat of the 2-storied wooden and concrete structure which houses the Crown Taxi service on Middle Street. When the Evening News arrived on the scene, Middle Street had turned into a war zone with police and the gunman exchanging fire for more than 2 hours. In an attempt to control scores of eager onlookers and Guyanese who were either pouring into the scene of the shooting as it was in progress or fleeing the scene, tear gas was used to contain the crowd. By this time, classes at several primary and secondary schools were disrupted as parents stormed the institutions to take their children to safety. This newscast understands that 2 police officers were shot dead on the scene while they were trying to execute their duties. They have reportedly been identified as 24-year-old Michael Ford and Lance Corporal Sherwin Pantelis. Additionally, 2 civilians were cut down with a hail of bullets from the businessman's gun after the shooting escalated around 2 p.m. The dispatcher attached to Crown Taxi service was also murdered when the man went berserk. She has since been identified as Vanessa Whitehouse. The owner of the Crown Taxi service shared these details with the Evening News while we were on the scene.
Just clearing the air that he's okay, and he's sending out condolences.
Disturbed about the whole situation, I guess I understand. A driver shooting me was shot, an ex-staff of the dispatcher was shot. And thirdly, I guess to understand that the media announced that Crown Cab owner was responsible for the whole incident, which is not true. And apart from that, I'd like to send a condolence to the police officers, the staff, and any other person that was board, directly or indirectly, in this whole incident. I'm very disappointed. I don't have words to explain what really took place here and what actually happened. I'm still shocked. I never want to speak to you guys.
So why would they say you're responsible? Why?
I have no idea. You guys would know that.
How many anybody from here? He won know.
So you weren't here?
I don't have
He's the owner of Crown. Anybody from your establishment was injured?
Yeah, that's it.
What's the dispatcher's name? Who was shot?
This information is not confirmed yet, you know.
Okay.
My understanding that what reached to me is that a dispatcher, I think her name is Vanessa Williams, driver, Polly, and an ex-driver, I'm sure it's just other driver, 2 policemen and some other female.
Thank you, sir.
As the shooting continued, the Ghana Power and Light Company's emergency unit moved in and disconnected the electricity supply in the area as the police put their training into action. Several high-ranking and specialized police officers and units were on the scene earlier today. Kanai, who launched his assault from inside the building, also forced hospital officials to put their emergency plans into action in fear that the close-by patients and wards could come under threat from stray bullets. Staff and others in close proximity to the area were also rushed to safety, with some hiding in remote parts of their respective workplaces. After the shooting incident, the Black Clothes Police, the CID officials and other lawmen who were part of the process were seen removing spent shells from the scene while they were disarming their weapons. Hundreds gathered after word spread that the man had been captured and killed to catch a glimpse of his body. The police tried to control the crowd and get the body en route to the hospital in the midst of high drama, but the buoyant crowd remained vigilant. Reports are that Kanai tripped out and armed himself with a shotgun and pistol, which were inside of the building. He also had an unusual amount of ammunition, which were used to execute the assault. The incident has sent shockwaves throughout the country. The motive behind the shooting is still not known at this time. The police officials up to 7 p.m. this evening were carrying out their investigations. Michael Young reporting for the Evening News.
Meanwhile, the increasing number of youths involved in criminal activities is quite alarming. However, the Guyana Police Force has managed to penetrate key gangs in its quest to bring down the numbers. Svetlana Marshall reports.
Curbing increases in violent crimes executed by youths remain a challenging task for the Guyana Police Force over the past few years. Despite this, the force has been able to create major disturbances in the Hot Skull Gang as it combats crime in Guyana. Crime Chief Silal Prasad disclosed that the force is working to dismantle the gang based in All Boys Town, noting that 3 members have been killed by police and others imprisoned. On October 12, gang members 22-year-old Romario Branco Gavaya, Mark Joseph 19 and 20-year-old German Canterbury were killed during a sting operation in South Road. 2 firearms and matching ammunition were recovered along with 1 female wig.
These 4 are members of the group. Recently, they have been sentenced to 60 months imprisonment for gun-related robberies. That's about 2 months ago. These are some other members of the group who are before the courts. One of them actually is on bail and is not returning, so arrest warrant is issued for him, Mumar Jabbar. And they are before the courts for 7 counts of gun robberies, 2 counts of illegal firearms, 1 of assault.
An earlier sting operation in February had resulted in the deaths of 32-year-old Quincy Alexander of Meadowbrook Gardens, Tony Ogle, 46, called Skin Teeth of All Boys Town, and his cousin Leon Gittings, 24, called Cow, also of All Boys Town. They were reportedly in the process of staging a brazen daylight robbery in Prashad Nagar when the police intercepted. These are just a few of the many violent crimes committed by young men. Meanwhile, Guyana has experienced a 5% increase in serious crimes for the period January to October 2013 when compared to the previous years. Stats indicate that murders have dropped but robberies have increased, moving from 514 in 2012 to 596 in 2013. Persons between the ages of 15 and 35 continue to be the major perpetrators in serious crimes.
78% of the persons charged with serious crimes this year are below 35 years. 52% of the repeated offenders are below 35 years. 26% of persons charged with murder were previously charged with a serious offense. 80% of persons charged with robbery-related murders are below 35 years. 93.6% of repeated offenders for street crimes are below 35 years. 74% of persons charged with break-in offenses are below 35 years.
As the Christmas season approaches, Prasad said the Guyana Police Force will be clamping down more on crime. Police officers will be more visible on the streets, he noted. Focus will also continue to be given to depressed communities where the Home Affairs Ministry is working with youths to channel their energy toward meaningful activities. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Svetlana Marshall.
A memorandum of understanding was on Monday signed between the local government and Regional Development Ministry and Natural Globe Incorporated, which will see Guyana's first solid waste recycling plant being installed in Region 4 to ensure improved solid waste management. Over the years, government has been working assiduously with the local democratic organs to address the issue of solid waste management across the country. This $30 million investment will seek to address that issue and will see 5 transfer stations being installed in the region, 3 on the east coast of Demerara and 2 on the east bank of Demerara. Every household will also be provided with differently colored containers to recycle their waste. The Guyana Power and Light GPL has commenced the first phase of its advanced metering infrastructure program. Samuel Suknanan reports.
GPL's Advanced Metering Infrastructure AMI program is aimed to provide customers with more accurate meter reading, information about their energy usage, and a system for recognizing power outages without customer input. The power company said in a statement today that the pilot project is financed under a loan agreement with the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB. Under the first phase of the pilot project, 2,000 smart meters, which is a component of the AMI system, will be installed. The pilot zone extends from Avenue of the Republic to Fessingen Road and North Road to South, including Regent, Robb and Charlotte Streets, Georgetown. GPL said the program incorporates technology that allows electric meters to be read remotely and provide a wide range of benefits to customers as well as operational savings through increased efficiencies to GPL. Additionally, the AMI will eventually be implemented countrywide and serve as a platform to eliminate manual meter reading, provide remote monitoring of the electric distribution system. This will enable customers to manage their bills by tracking their consumption and demand via internet. GPL has approximately 138,000 meters scheduled to be read every month, but some remain unread because of severe weather, dogs, locked gates, or other accessibility issues. For the evening news, I'm Samuel Suknandan.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching the evening news. This is the evening news. Welcome back. A Guyanese teenager charged with sodomizing his 5-year-old cousin has been ordered not to return to Guyana. This was one of several conditions imposed on the 15-year-old boy, who was granted 70,000 TNT dollars bail with his uncle as surety to cover all charges when he appeared in a Trinidad's court. The 5 offences spanned over a two-year period and alleged took place at the child's home. The other charges included 2 counts of grievous sexual assault and 2 counts of serious indecency. He was not called upon to plead to the charges, which were read to him by Magistrate Annette McKenzie in the San Fernando First Court. Attorney Sherry Ramutar said the teenager lived with his uncle in Williamsville. His parents live in Guyana. She said the teenager did not attend school but was learning a trade. Court prosecutor Cleon Sedan asked for certain conditions to be attached to bail. He said the teenager lived about half a mile away from the child and frequented the house because other relatives lived there. The magistrate ordered him to stay away from the victim's home, surrender his TNT and Guyana passports, be barred from obtaining a new passport, and have no contact with the victim. She explained to the teenager's uncle that he would be responsible for bringing him to court. If he failed to do so, she told him it was possible he would have to pay the 70,000 TNT dollars. The matter was adjourned to December 9. Red Thread says government has been lukewarm in its strategy to tackle domestic violence, noting that unless a serious plan is put together to fight this scourge, more women will die at the hands of their spouses. Samuel Suknanan tells us more.
Head of Red Thread, Karen D'Souza, said that a concerted effort is needed by all concerned parties to tackle domestic violence, which continues to see a huge increase in the past few months. D'Souza said that while this is needed, government has been lukewarm in its efforts to address this issue, and unless they start to seriously tackle it, it could turn out to be a huge crisis. Government, she said, has to pour more resources into this area as well as to move to acquire additional skills that are lacking in the country. Referring to the Tuesday murder-suicide in West Rheinveld, D'Souza said that specific incident points to a number of issues that needs to be addressed, especially as it relates to the attitude of the community to report these cases.
So at the level of our individual responses, I think there's a lot that needs to be done. Relatives and neighbors have to do a lot better in terms of responding and making reports to the police.
The Red Thread director also noted that while some police officers and magistrates are dealing with reported cases seriously, others are not.
Having said all that, there is still way too much space for the individual response. I don't like you, therefore I will not take your report, or the man is my friend, therefore I will not take your report. There's still too much of that, and we have to build into our system some checks and balances so that we know if the protocols are the responses must be 1, 2, 3, 4.
D'Souza believes that steps should be taken to examine the efforts and absence of resources in this area and really plan a serious strategy dealing with violence and domestic violence in particular. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan.
Today, a man was placed on $1 million bail after he appeared before Magistrate Julie Latchman to answer to the charge of dangerous driving. Rajesh Jaharan pleaded not guilty to the charge, which stated that on September 23 at Wellington and Robb Streets, he drove motor car PNN 1530 in a manner dangerous to the public, causing the death of Joel Baines. There was no objections to bail raised by Prosecutor Vishnu Hunt, and it was granted. The matter stands adjourned to November 27. More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching the Evening News. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Assistant Police Commissioner and Commander of the A Division, Derek Josiah, was today rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital after the vehicle he was traveling in slammed into a utility pole. The incident occurred at Good Fortune West Bank, Demerara at about 3 hours 30. The commander received a fractured shoulder while his driver, identified only as Lance Corporal Chuena, is being treated at the West Demerara Regional Hospital for head injuries. The Guyana Defence Force, GDF, has renamed and dedicated its Air Corps headquarters in honor of Lieutenant Colonel retired Lawrence Hillary London on Friday. The headquarters will now be known as Air Station London. Chief of Staff Brigadier Mark Phillips, the former Chiefs of Staff Major General Norman McLean, Brigadier General Edward Collins, Rear Admiral Gary Best, senior serving GDF officers and a number of special invitees welcomed and hosted Lieutenant Colonel London and members of his family at a dedication ceremony. The Chief of Staff acknowledged and thanked London for his sterling service to the GDF and for dedicating his energies to building and strengthening the Air Corps during his tenure there. He also recounted London's accomplishments within the GDF as both an avid sportsman and sport administrator. You're watching the Evening News. Stay tuned for sport after the break. Welcome back to the Evening News. Now for a look at sport. In the headlines, over 70 cyclists confirmed for Right for Life 5 stage. Sonics win first Super 7 basketball title, and Enmore Community Centre Cricket Club wins the GT&T 35-over cricket competition. Now for the details. Over 70 local and overseas cyclists will compete in the 7th annual 5-state cycling event under the theme Right for Life, an initiative of the Ministries of Sport and Health and the National AIDS Programme Secretariat. Rajiv Bisnot reports.
Chief Organizer Hassan Mohammed, in an exclusive interview on Tuesday, indicated that 72 cyclists from Guyana, inclusive of 2 Colombians and a Barbadian, have confirmed their participation for the event. Mohammed told his sports cars that while riders from Suriname and French Guyana have indicated an interest in this year's race, up to late this afternoon they did not confirm their participation.
This year looked to be bigger than any other year that we had from 2007 to 2012, all right? And last year when 2012, Jaime Ramnarez is here. He's from Colombia, but he'll be riding for the Coco team as usual, right? And of course he have the fastest time, 9 hours 46 minutes 51 seconds.
Meanwhile, Mohammed revealed that all arrangements are in place for the event.
But so far, all the preparation is being put in place. But you know, as usual, sometimes the last minute something might come up. You never know. But as far as I'm concerned, everything is put in place for this race to come off successful.
Before they head to the Asian County on Wednesday, the riders and officials will assemble at the Sport Ministry office on Main Street at noon, where they will be addressed by key officials of the ministry, the National Sports Commission and the Guyana Cycle Federation. The opening stage on Thursday will start from Curverton to New Amsterdam from 7:30 hours. Stage 2 will be on the same day from Rossignol to Georgetown from 1400 hours. Stage 3 will take place on Friday from Wales to Perica from 9 hours, while the penultimate stage will be contested from 7:30 hours the following day from Supernam to Surrey. The 5th and final stage will commence in Linden at 8:30 hours and finish on Homechurch Avenue, Georgetown on Sunday.
Basketball news. The Sonic Rebels routed the Colts 52-28 to win the first edition of the Super 7's Novelty Basketball Tournament on Sunday evening at the Burnham Hart Court. Tristan Joseph reports.
Sonics played with great tenacity as they closed out on open shooters while clogging the lanes to prevent easy drives to the bucket, which forced a number of turnovers and missed shots by the Colts during the game. On offense, the Sonics moved the ball well, looking for openings in the lane or taking open jumpers as Collis Pluck led the way with 14 points. Jason Squires finished with 13, while Corinne Jackson had 10 points to close out the blowout win. Shelroy Thomas's ball dominance stagnated the offensive flow of the Colts as he ended with 18 points of the team's total 28. Meanwhile, in the earlier third-place playoff game, Buxton routed Melanie 43-29. Ewart Smith top scored with 18 points for Buxton, while Sheldon Legal was the high point man for Melanie with 14 points. At the presentation ceremony held after the finals, Yola Entertainment's Kirk Chowpao Jardine thanked everyone for the support, while President of the Georgetown Amateur Basketball Association, Michael Singh, renewed his commitment to basketball in Georgetown.
And finally, some cricket news. Experience and youth combined in Sunday to spur Enmore Community Centre Cricket Club to victory over Fairfield Sports Club, and with it the title of champions of the inaugural GT&T sponsored 35 over cricket competition at the Enmore Community Centre ground. Details in this report. After former national wicketkeeper batsman Sheikh Mohammed with 54 not out led Enmore to 177 for 5 from 30 overs, the home team's bowlers went about destroying Fairfield's batting, which crumbled for 94 from 28.1 overs. Off-spinner Yuvraj Dayal was the pick of the bowlers with 4 for 19, while the left-arm seamer Gavin Mariah picked up 2 for 21 and Nandram Ganesh 2 for 8. When Enmore batted, the left-handed Mohammed held the innings together, with skipper Bimraj Ram Kelawan hitting 31 and first-class player Amir Khan scoring 34. At the presentation ceremony which followed the final, Enmore collected the winner's trophy and $30,000 cash, while Fairfield had to settle for a trophy and $20,000. Mohammed, who was later voted man of the match and best batsman of the final, said it was a great feeling to win the tournament, especially since the club was only resuscitated in February this year after a period of dormancy.
So of course I do. The game was shortened, and you need somebody to stay there and bat through the innings, and and I try to use my experience and try to let other players bat around me. So of course I did enjoy it. It's good to to be winning again. It's a long time, and it's a revive and more team, and I hope that this is the beginning of a lot of victories to follow.
Skipper Bimraj Ram Kelawan expressed similar sentiments, adding that the victory was made even sweeter as the club's last success was back in 2000 when they defeated home team GCC to lift the hand-in-hand title.
Well, I feel good because it's 13 years ago when unfortunately 13 years back I was the captain of the Enmore team and we won the last competition. It feels very good today that after 13 years we're here again.
Halfway stage, 170. You thought you're confident of victory at that time?
Yeah, but actually bowling is our strong point in this throughout the competition. We're confident defending that total.
At the presentation ceremony which followed, Yuvraj Dayal was adjudged best bowler and received a trophy. The Guyana Umpire Council was also rewarded for their contribution to the tournament, which attracted 8 teams. The competing teams were Enmore, Fairfield, Mahaika, Dutchford, King Grove, Helena, Perseverance and Strathaven. And with that, we've come to the end of sport. Of course, you can find these stories and more in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in George and Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and in Unicary, Suriname. Stay tuned, your Bridge Reports next. This is the evening news. Welcome back. Now for a look at your bridge reports. The Damrar Harbour Bridge will be closed on Wednesday, November 13 at 14 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Wednesday, November 13 at 13 hours 15 for a period of 1.5 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of the evening news for Tuesday, November 12, 2013. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.